Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Entrepreneur Hour. I screwed up Facebook, but welcome back to the Entrepreneur Hour, where we help entrepreneurs and investors profit through innovation. So, if you have watched my content in the past, you know that I create content around creating multiple streams of revenue. So, in this video, I'm going to talk about how we can, in this day and age, in 2020, create digital products, right? So, digital products, I believe if COVID has shown us anything, is that digital products are where you want to be if you're an entrepreneur. You don't want to play around with this physical products, right? So this is a physical products, right? But you don't want to only have physical products now, because as you see, physical products have a limitation that digital products don't have, right? So when I think about 2020 and what it has shown us is content is king, and I'm so glad I started doing this during the pandemic, this show. But also digital courses, digital products, apps, games. This is where people are going to be spending their time post COVID as well. During COVID, you realize the companies that make more money are the game companies, the content companies, the digital companies. So I think part of what I want to start to create in this entrepreneur hour and just in general is I want to start allowing entrepreneurs to start understanding the digital world more. I don't know if that is something that is as understood as I normally am able to do. I'm deleting on Facebook because I messed that up. All right, so let's see if I could relaunch on Facebook. All right, whatever. So basically, this episode I'm gonna start showing, and any if there's any questions for sure, I would like to get them. Hold on, I just want to go live on Facebook. All right, so now I'm live on Facebook too. I want to get any questions from people that may want to create some digital products but don't know where to start, because I'm lucky enough to run a company that does digital products every day for many years. So I understand how to build just about anything digitally, but I understand that, especially now, I saw it more than ever in COVID, most entrepreneurs don't understand the digital age. And now we're heading into what's called the innovation age, right? So part of what I want to start to do is start to help entrepreneurs and people in general to create their digital products, right? And even me, I'm creating digital products. I'm creating courses. I'm going to create a podcast. I'm creating a podcast right now. This is on a podcast. I'm creating content. I'm creating an app. I'm creating a game. I'm creating a digital store to sell products like this. So for me, it comes easier than most. So I wanted to try to figure out how to help people, right? So the first thing I'm going to start to do is break down how to think about creating a digital product, right? So a digital product, the best definition I could find is a digital product is a software-enabled product or service that offers some form of utility to a human being. Now, it's a little vague, but think about digital products as things that are not physical but can be sold, right? So like this cup, you can go buy this cup at innovateeverydayshop.com, right? And every time you buy it, somebody somewhere, not me, prints it up, ships it to you. I make money, they make money, right? And even that's a little bit of an innovation, because before I had to buy 10,000 of these cups, have them somewhere, and hope somebody was going to buy, right? But now, through that innovation of drop shipping and stuff like that, I only pay on demand once somebody buys. But let's say today, this show gets 1 million views and 1 million people buy a cup. What happens? Is that really possible? I mean, I'm sure eventually every one of those 1 million people would get that cup, but that means this factory that I work with and partner with on my cups has to have 1 million of these cups Print them up, ship them all out. There's cost to shipping, there's cost to printing, there's cost of inventory. If it was a digital product, like let's say I didn't sell a cup. Let's say I sold a course, right? And 1 million people bought that course. 1 million people just have access to that course today, no problem. And I would make money instantly, right? So that's how you want to start thinking about whatever it is you do, how to create digital products around it. And most of the time, people first think website, app, right? And a digital product is that. Those are also digital products. The big thing is whether it's creating an app, a website, a game, a course, a podcast, whatever, the thought process is the same, right? So that's what I'm going to go over today. So when you start out a digital product, the first thing you want to think about is who's the target audience, right? In any business, but specifically in a digital product, because if you think about it, when you are creating something, you're spending all this time making something that you want people to use in whatever way, you have to understand who you're going to target. Because another great thing about digital products is through advertising, like I said, imagine I had this course and through advertising, I wanted to reach 1 million people. I can do it like that. If I had the money, I could do it like that. And you see it. A lot of people like that do what I do. You'll see a lot of advertising for this course or that course. Those people are spending millions of dollars on their ad campaign. But as soon as you make the purchase, boom, you have access to that digital product. I saw a video the other day. This woman made a course, and in 10 days, she made $1 million off her course. She sold the course to 1,000 people. She made $1 million, right? That you know how many shirts like this I would have to sell to make $1 million, right? Like, and then what is the process that has to happen after it's sold to deliver on the buy, right? It becomes an expensive thing when it's physical. With digital, you make it one time, and it keeps on being reused. So the first step, think about target audience. So if I think about a website, I had a call this morning with a client, right? A website, I'm creating a website for a I guess I could talk about it, whatever. It's called BIC of New York, BICOFNY. They have a website, and I'm redoing it. They are a company that gives out loans to businesses that want to either buy a building or invest in equipment, not computers, things like factory equipment. So on the call today, today was the kickoff call, I had to break down the mentality of the person that they thought needed their product. And I said, okay, I'm an entrepreneur. What do I need to understand when I land on your website? And how do I take advantage of what you offer? So in a situation like whatever it is you're creating, you have to first think about what is it that you're selling and to who, right? So even me right now, when I create all this content, I haven't fully thought that out. I'm starting to figure it out. And in the content game, that's kind of how you want to do it. You want to just start putting it out there, getting comfortable, and then seeing what people want. And then I will be creating a course, no doubt. Right now, the thing that I've seen the most interest in is creating shows like I create right now. Shows, podcasts that actually can make revenue. So right now, I'm talking to a few people about that. And that is one of the course ideas I am kicking around right now. But I'm not sure. It may end up being another course idea I had was to teach startups how to create their platform, right? So to create something that has enough value to raise money. That was an idea I started out with, but I don't know if there's enough of a volume for that. So once you understand who it's for, then you start reverse engineering how do you help them get it. And then once they have it, they are happy with what they bought, right? So the first thing you want to do is come up with what they call personas. Personas are different types of people that you believe would be interested in your product. So, for instance, today, my client today, Bick of New York, they have one client with two specific needs, right? In that specific website, they have entrepreneurs that are looking to either buy equipment and they want to finance it, or buy a building and they want to finance it. So right now, if you go to their website right now, that is not that understandable, right? Like you land on the website, you know it's for loans, but you don't really understand fully what type of loans. So that's what I had to do, right? That's what I do. I go in, I look from the view of the target audience. So first thing I have to do is understand who is the target audience. And luckily, I am the target audience in this project, right? I am an entrepreneur. I am working with companies that are looking to purchase things like that. So what I did was I created the persona. One persona is the entrepreneur trying to buy a building. The other persona is the entrepreneur trying to buy heavy machinery or whatever, machinery. Now, I have to make sure that that website speaks to both those people individually and takes them down a path to engage with the company that hired me to make their website, right? So you have to think the same exact way with your digital product. So if you're thinking about a podcast, which I have my podcast and I'm going to change the name right now. It's called Miguel Sanchez Universe, but I think I'm going to change it to Miguel Sanchez World. And this might be the first episode, actually. I'm recording this audio only, but then I'm doing this show as well. The reason I'm doing this is because in a way I am selling digital products. This product right here of this video, one day could be making me money, right? Just by being on YouTube, just by being on Facebook, just by being on Instagram. Who knows what at Twitch, right? All these platforms will be paying their contributors. So in a way, this video is a digital product. Who am I targeting? Look at the title. Who am I targeting, right? The Entrepreneur Hour. I'm targeting entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs tend to be investors too. I mean, investors tend to be entrepreneurs. So I know by targeting entrepreneurs, I'm also kind of targeting investors. I could have named it the Investor Hour, but I wasn't I wasn't in the mind state of an investor till very recently. So I can't really touch on much in that world yet. So I'm creating the Entrepreneur Hour because I know I'm targeting entrepreneurs, people who think in the entrepreneurial way. And those, again, tend to be investors as well. So, right? So this digital product, if you're watching it, first of all, like it, subscribe to the channel, wherever you're watching. But understand that this is being created to help you in a certain way. So even right now, I'm creating this content, starting to explain how to create a digital product with the hope that people watching ask me questions. So wherever you're watching this, if you could put questions in the comment section on whatever product you want to create and any question you might have in creating it, and I will answer every comment as long as it doesn't get to ridiculous amount of comments. But if it does, that's a good problem and I'll figure it out, right? So for instance, right now I'm talking about a website, but let's say we're talking about an app. App has a very similar path, right? All of them do. Who are we targeting? Right now I'm working on an app. Can't really talk about it. Okay, but I did launch another app. We just launched an app for New York City for electric vehicle drivers. Okay, so why does that matter? The city of New York was creating an app to help electric vehicle drivers charge their vehicles in places where they can do stuff while they wait. Because when you charge an electric vehicle, it can be hours where you have to wait, right? So what New York City wanted to do was give people routes that would allow them to spend that time doing something fun. So they hired mass ideation. We, again, had to figure out, we had to put ourselves in the mind state of an electric vehicle driver. But at the same time, when you get hired to do something like a mass ideation does for a client like that, I also have to put myself in the mindset of the client, right? What does the client want? What does New York City want out of this app? So I have to play I have to become both sides, the user and the client, which in not every case you have to do that. That's pretty much a production, a creative agency kind of thing. But for you, it's good to even think that way, because a lot of times I've seen in the past, where I've worked with many different people over many, many years, people don't really know what they want out of the project. Like, for instance, another digital product I've been creating over the summer, a game, right? I'm working on a game. When I created that game, it was because I was getting a lot of feedback from the young people I was working with at Meta Bronx, and even my sons, that they were super interested in gaming. So I said, okay, I'm the client. I'm going to fund this game. But what do I want out of this game? I want to teach young people about business through this game. I don't just want to create a cool game. I want everybody working with me on the game behind the scenes to understand how to create things, digital products, right? So I took the young people at Metabronx and I put them through all the steps I'm talking to you right now about. I had us create personas. Then I had us create a user experience document. So what a user experience document is, and again, I guess I'll put it in the description, in the comments. You can go, and there's free applications that will allow you to create what's called wireframes. Wireframes are rough ideas of what will go on each screen of your digital product. So if you think about any kind of digital product, I'm making a website. So again, talk about the two that I spoke about today. Actually, three. Spoke about the website we're building right now for BIC of New York. I have to now, after that conversation, I or one of my user experience document people will create the breakdown of what a user will see when they land on that website. Not designed, squares. Okay, when you land on the website, are you looking to buy real estate as an entrepreneur, or are you looking to buy equipment as an entrepreneur? And that is the start. To me, that's the front page of the website. I'm visually seeing it. Hey, we are BIC of New York. We help entrepreneurs grow their business. How do we do that? First, we help them buy real estate and we help them buy equipment. So now you land. If you are one of those, you know what to do. If you're not, you know to leave. You don't waste your time. You don't waste the company's time. So that's that one. With the app for the electric vehicle for the electric vehicle charging stations, when you land on it, first thing it says is what kind of car and where do you want to go. This was created for New Yorkers and upstate, or New York City people and people who live upstate, to either come to New York City, or New York City people to go upstate and back. So we had to create a breakdown of, okay, this is what the app does. This is what you're going to use it for, and this is how you use it, right? So in the beginning of an app, a lot of times you'll see a tutorial explaining how to use the app. Why is that? Because they want to make sure that their target audience understands what to do. So when you're thinking about a digital product, first thing you want to do, think about the audience. 2, think about what you want them to do, right? Third thing you're going to want to do is create this wireframe, this user experience document. You could create it on a napkin. There's been all kind of stories about startups that were created on a napkin in a conversation in a bar or a restaurant. How does that happen? Because what they do is they're pretty much creating a user experience document on a napkin. They're saying, okay, first screen needs to have this. Second screen needs to have that. Third screen needs to have that. And now you could take that document, give it to developers and designers, and start making it happen. You don't know how many times I get calls, texts about people like, "Ooh, Mike, I got a great idea. Can you help me?" My first question to them is, are you going to work on it, or are you just giving me an idea so I can do it? Because a lot of times people will be like, "Hey, Mike, I got a great idea. You do it and just give me money for it." And I'm like, "Nah, I'm good." You got to work on your own digital products too. That's another big thing. So the second question is, okay, what does your idea do and for who, right? What problem do you solve and who do you solve it for? And if you watch my content, if you watch especially the interview with Vest, which is an app for musicians and investors, I asked that question very specifically. What does your app do, and who does it do it for? What problem do you solve? So when you're creating a digital product, what problem do you solve? With a t-shirt, what problem am I solving? I'm not really solving a problem. I'm thinking, hey, if you are the type of person that wants to stay motivated, you may want to buy this shirt, because when you see it or you wear it, it may remind you to move into the direction that you've been wanting to do, but you may be forgetting to do it, right? That's how I think about it. And that's why I have it too. I keep it around me to motivate me, right? So at the end of the day, worst case scenario, I just use it to motivate myself, right? So when you're thinking about a product, a course, an app, a game, all these things, you have to think about the outcome that you're looking for yourself and the user. And then you create a user experience document that helps you understand that path on every side, right? So if I am persona 1 in the big example, how do I, as an entrepreneur that's looking to buy real estate, get through the process I need to get through on that website? I need to make sure that the client, BIC of New York, gives me all the information I need to make sure it's as easy as a trip to get to what they want people to do, right? So that is some work. It's kind of like, it's very similar to an architect and a home, right? You don't just start building a home, right? Like, oh, we got this land, just start building. No, they have an architect create the plan. You look at the plan, you say, I think I need another bathroom. Before you start building, put another bathroom here. I think I need another bedroom. I need the roof to be bigger, whatever it is. Because once you start building, if you change it, it's going to cost you a lot more money. Same thing on a digital product, right? So what you want to do is you want to go through the process of showing it to the personas that you care about in the simplest form before you start designing it and developing. And that's what a user experience document does. I wish I could show you one right now, but they're all kind of proprietary stuff, so I can't really show. Maybe you know what? The game. Actually, I probably could show you the user experience document of the game. It changed a lot though because of user experience testing. So I'm gonna show you actually. I'm gonna pull it up. All right, so it's loading. I'm gonna start sharing my screen. All right, so this is a user experience document right here, right? So when I was approaching developers, I created this document to explain what the game was gonna do. This was the first version of it. It looks nothing like this anymore. Why? But think about it. If I would have not done this, it would have cost me double, maybe triple. So at first, I thought the game would be used in a tall and in the up like this for the phone. Then I thought we would have a campaign and then a multiplayer. There would be characters, right? And then this is the gameplay I would use and how it would work. So right here, you can see a finger and it's moving, and that's how I was thinking about the character being controlled. And then you would tap to shoot. And then when things broke, you would get money or energy, right? All this stuff was stored out. I discussed it with the group at MetaBronx, and we thought, yes, this feels good. We think this is going to be a cool game. What we ended up doing was I paid for the first version. Again, very simple. I said, don't go too crazy. We want to test the gameplay. It's another big thing you want to do. You want to create the simplest, cost-effective, cheapest thing you can create to actually test the idea. It's called MVP, and different levels of MVP are normally thought of, right? So MVP sometimes means what goes out to the public, but to me, MVP means what goes out to the users that are going to test, right? So we created the MVP. I spent some money. We got the app. When we started to play it, I had about 15 user tests, right? I had my sons. I had the kids at Metabronx, participants at Metabronx, and I had myself. So we started playing it. And we realized this game has to be played sideways. It's not as fun because you can't see as much tall. We could have backed out, zoomed it out, but no, we realized it's better sideways. So now we had to change the whole game sideways, and we had to change the way you controlled the game, right? So, but I learned that early enough where it didn't cost me a lot more. So when you're creating digital products, that's what you have to think about. You have to think, what am I testing? And what's the simplest way to test it? So like I was talking to you about earlier with the course, this woman that sold the course for $1 million. She made $1 million in 10 days. She first did stuff like this where she would ask people, what kind of help do you need? She would create content. People said, I really want to know how to do this. So she made a simple course with a small group. She worked with them. She figured out all the kinks. Then she created her course where she marketed it to more than like thousands of people. That course sold $100,000. The first version that it was based on the small group's learnings, she made 100,000. Then she took the learnings from that 100,000 course and she made another course and she made $1 million. I'm not saying that that's always the case, but that's the process. You create something simple, you learn, you create something a little more robust, you learn, you create something more robust, you learn, you create something more robust, you learn. So you don't create your full idea up front because you'll waste a lot of money like that. So we think about the steps, like I said. First step, personas. Even with the game personas were, I wanted the game to be angled towards minority game players. And what's one of the problems in gaming is that we don't have representation, right? There's not a lot of games with black or brown lead characters. So I said, that's not going to be the case in my game. We're going to make the game target that. So we're probably targeting black and Hispanic players, right? So we targeted a woman, I think it was a woman Hispanic and a black male. And then we said, okay, how are we going to make them want to play the game and enjoy the game? So we're going to have characters that angle towards them, right? So we got a woman general, Hispanic general. Then the boy is an Afro-Latino child. So he's black and Hispanic. So we targeted and we created something around targeting that demographic, right? So you have to think about the same way. Why do you want to do this? I know a lot of people come up with ideas and they're like, no, I'm targeting everybody. That is one of the biggest mistakes you can make. Why? In the beginning, you can't target everybody. It's so hard. It costs so much money. Think about it. If I told you you're going to advertise to everybody versus advertising to Hispanic women and black males age X to X, now it's much more focused of how you spend your advertising budget. So that's a big part of it. How you draw people in is how you want to understand them and then target them. And that's where apps like Facebook, digital product, allow you to do that. Google, digital product, allow you to do that. Physical products don't really allow you to do that. You know, like this cup, once I sell it and it goes to the person, I know nothing else about what happens with this cup. Like, imagine if I could put a chip in the cup and I know what type of drink goes in the cup. And I get a report, hey, the Innovate Everyday Cup, 90% of people drink orange juice out of it. That's data that's like, whoa, I can use that. So maybe the next version of the cup, I put an orange on it. I don't know. But I'm learning from the product versus physical products. You can't really learn. You put it out and you hope. Maybe you learn through watching people use it. But with digital products, you can put all kind of tracking around it to learn about how to make it better. So if you look at every app, whatever app you're watching this on right now, it didn't start out that way. It started out very different. And then they watched all the users using it and they changed it. Over time, in 10 years, that product looks very different from when it started. Because over time they learn and adjust. But they didn't build it like Facebook today. Look nothing like Facebook when it first started, right? But over time and learnings, you create a better product. So the first thing you want to do is create the simplest version of your product in the simplest way, in the cheapest way. And then you learn and build more. So if there's one thing you learn off this today, it is, what are you testing and what's the simplest way to test it, and who are your target audiences to test it with, right? So that's the holy grail of creating a digital product right there. So for instance, the apps we're making, the games we're making, the websites we're making, they all are based on that simple process. Create the simplest way to test out if this is working, so you can make iterations to make sure that you are winning, right? So this idea of whichever one we're talking about, the big, what if when people land, they don't convert because something is wrong, something's off, then I need to change it, right? Imagine if I just say, hey, client, we're going to put it there. Good luck. Hopefully we did it right. See you when I see you. That's not it's not going to help anybody. Right? It's not going to help me. It's not going to help them. Instead, we create a relationship where we say, okay, this is what we think. Let's try it. And there's still budget to do an iteration or two, right? Simple iterations to test out the change. One client we're working with right now, which is MIT, and it's called Bronx Cooperative Development Initiative, BCDI. But they're backed by MIT. We're creating an app through a program called, forgot the name of it. But basically what it does is, it does rapid prototyping. What's the name of the app? Hold on. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to, hold on. I'll put it in the chat. But we're using that product because the client had a budget and they knew there was a lot of things they were testing. So they didn't want to have to make a lot of updates to the iterations and spend a lot more money on developers, right? So we chose together to work on this this new software that builds websites and then lets you rapidly prototype them. So you don't need developers after you build it. Why is that? Now that company can iterate without needing a me or needing one of my developers. And that's fine for both of us, right? Because they're not going to have the money to pay my developers and me anyway, so they can do it. Because it was through a grant, so they have a certain amount of money, right? They can go after more grant money and get more, but just in case they can't, they wanted to have a way to iterate. And that was a smart choice. And that's what you want to do. You want to create digital products that you can iterate, that you can keep changing, so you can eventually make the best product possible. And once it's really good, you advertise and you draw as much traffic to it as possible, and you make as much money as possible, right? So we started out persona. Then we went to user experience, where we get the goals of every persona. We make sure the user experience, we believe we create the first version of allowing each persona to reach the goal we want. So if we go back to some of these examples, I'll use BIC of NY. I want entrepreneurs to apply for a loan to buy a building or apply for a loan to buy equipment. Now I need to make it as easy as humanly possible for them to do that, right? How do I do that? I go to the client and I say, okay, I'm putting myself in the shoes of that entrepreneur. What do you want from me? What do you need from me to know if I qualify for a loan? Right now, the website that was built before they hired us, you don't really understand that. So I went through it with them and I said, okay, I answered the questions that are currently on the website. But you just told me that these are also criteria that you need to pass to get a loan. So we need it in this form, right? Because why find that out later? Why go through the process if you see, okay, this is not for me. I don't have what they need from me. So now you don't go through the process. Nobody wastes their time. So that's the kind of thing you need to think through with the persona, user experience, goal. Simplest way to test the personas. So some companies can have 10 personas that they target. You want to target 1 to 3 at first. So you create 1 to 3 different types of people. You say, okay, I'm going to figure out the goal for each one of those people and I'm going to test it. Then I'm going to give it to people who fit that criteria and see what happens. Right? So that's how you start out a digital product. You give it the best case scenario of succeeding per persona, and then you see what happens, right? So for instance, just told you about BIC. There's an app, I can't really talk about that one. Okay, I talked about the electric vehicle one, right? So we have 2 users. We have a New York City user and we have an upstate user, right? So the upstate user and the New York City user, they are going to be thinking differently about using this app and how they use it. Along the path, they're going to go through the same checkpoints of scenarios where you can charge and have something to do, but how they go through the process, we have to think differently about it. So, for instance, even me, I'm starting to think about, I have many products going, right? So, but what I'm looking for is really, I'm trying to figure out how to create a course. I want to figure out how to create some type of course. I have no idea what people are interested in doing. I know I can build things. I can teach people how to do things. Right now, I think the podcast has the lead, like I said. So right now, I'm going to work with a small group on creating a podcast / show that makes money. I'm going to work with an influencer. I'm going to work with someone who's starting from scratch. I'm going to work with another influencer, and I'm going to work with another person that's starting from scratch. If there's anybody else watching this that wants to be a part of the group, it's going to be a free group for me to test out this course. That's where I'm starting because that's where I see the feedback. So if you are interested, definitely reach out. I got to figure out when I'm going to do this. But it is a goal of mine. I want to create digital products that make me money forever, and I iterate on them. And a course is one of the best. It is one of the best. And content is probably even better because you need the content to draw people in to buy your course. And through the content, if you start being able to monetize the content, you make money on the content that draws people in to buy your course. These are all digital products. These are all digital products. The content is a digital product. The course is a digital product. Both of them can make you money, unlimited money. Like if that content today got 10 million views, I'd make money on those 10 million views, and a certain percent of those people would buy the course. And I did nothing extra, right? I made those 2 things, and maybe I put advertising, but even that is automated digitally because those are digital products. So that's why, part of why I'm making this, and I want entrepreneurs, anybody watching that's thinking about, I want to create a business, I want to do something that makes me money, another stream of income. I want you to think about digital products and think about how, whatever your expertise is, whatever problem you think you solve for people, how could you do it digitally? Because eventually, that's going to be a course I create. A course I'm creating a course. Because once I do it, I'm going to show it in progress and then say, hey, buy this course so you know how to make your own course. I've done it with the show and the podcast. I've done it. My podcast makes money. It doesn't make $1 million a day. I don't got that much traffic, but it has made money. It made money. YouTube, I'm not monetized yet, but I'm on my way there, right? Over time, it will start to make money. And I've already created some partnerships, some brand partnerships that do make me money, right? It's not millions of dollars, but it's something. So depending on what type of audience you target and your influence and your following, you can make money pretty fast using these systems. The key to think about is how to make money outside of the content, right? So that's where you need digital products, right? So like I always said, I was going to create this content and I don't care if I don't make money off the content. I'm still going to make it for years, probably till I die. Why? Because it'll make me money around. Like I literally just got a website because I'm making this content. Like this content didn't make me money, but a client came to me because of the content. So I made money because of the content, right? Imagine if on top of that, I was making advertising money and selling digital products. That's how you start creating the multiple streams of income, right? So imagine right there, mass ideation made money, the content made money, the digital product made money, right? That's where I'm starting to get to my goal of 7, right? I want to get to 7. Right now I'm working on 13. It's hard to work on 13 things at the same time, but I prioritize. So the idea of the digital product is one of my main course ideas too. But right now I am seeing more of an ask for podcasts and shows, because I think people, that is less work. People think it's still a lot of work. Like just getting on here and doing this today, it was I hadn't done it in a long time, so I was like, my camera wasn't working. I had it on the wrong setting. It was a whole thing. I was late setting up because the camera was just not working, and I hadn't done it in a while. I hadn't made a show in almost 2 weeks, and in this format, right? So it's not easy. Nothing is easy. Nothing that makes money at all is easy. Nothing. But certain things, I posted this today actually. If you follow me on Instagram or whatever, or Facebook or Twitter, whatever, it was a picture of Robert Downey Jr. and it said, if working hard made millionaires, then day laborers will all be millionaires, right? Because they work probably the hardest, but they're not millionaires. What makes you rich, and this is what I'm seeing and dealing with different people, and today I had 3 different calls with 3 different mentors that are rich, and I'm breaking down what I'm doing, and they're like, whoa, I wouldn't do that, but I would do that. I like that idea. I like this idea, right? So the digital products is a unanimous yes, that makes sense. That's what I would do if I were you, right? So I'm bringing that same information to you. They're giving it to me, and I'm giving them, okay, this is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm thinking. They're like, that's good. That's good. That's bad. Don't do that, right? So that's the kind of stuff that I want to do for you, right? Like I'm lucky enough to have those mentors. They believe in me. I want to be the conduit to you to help you. Whatever it is you want to do, reach out, put it in the comments, wherever, DMs, whatever, because I know a lot of people are a little bit afraid to talk about their ideas, right? Because they think people are going to steal them. What I'm here to tell you is most people are not going to do the work. Even me, I know I'm not getting 1 million views a show right now, but I know 1 out of every 100, 200 will actually do it. I have a friend who just created a podcast. I've been talking to him for a while about doing it. I've been motivating him behind the scenes. He did it, and he just thanked me the other day. And I was like, no, you did it. I was just talking shit to you pretty much, but you did it, right? But I have other people reach out to me too that say, hey, look, I want to do it. And I'm like, all right, this is the first step. When you do that, come back to me. If you don't, it's up to you. It's on you. I don't care. I'm doing mine every day. Well, I was doing it every day. Now I'm coming back. I'm back. At the end of the day, today's show, what I want you to understand is the opportunity of digital products and then how to think about it. So if I could recap it, the opportunity in digital products is the physical has limitations, right? There's physical limitations. There's a certain amount of cups that can be created. There's not a certain amount of people that can download. Literally, every human being on this planet, if you made something digitally, they can pay you for it right now. Because now everybody has access to the internet, or at least most of the world. Once everybody has access to the internet, digital products are going to explode. They call it the bottom billion. So right now, most of the world has internet, but there's the bottom billions. They don't, because they're in poor countries. But now what are they getting? Phones. And now they have access to the internet. And once they do, you're going to be able to sell them digital products. And I don't only mean sell them. Again, it comes back to the content. I tell everybody, anybody who will listen, most don't. Actually, yeah, I think most don't. The content thing is the best one. Why? I don't even have to ask you for money to make money off the content. Right? I have to ask you to buy my digital product. And a big percent of you won't. A small percent of you will. With the content, if I get monetized by YouTube, which eventually there's no doubt about it, I will, just by you watching, I will make money. That's the difference about content. I don't really see many things like that. There are games. Games are another one, right? Where you make a game and then through the advertising, you can make money, but it's not as easy. All you got to do is turn on the camera, talk, and you create content that can make you money. To make a game, you got to go through a lot. And I am documenting that process too. So I'm creating content around that, and I will link to it right here once this video is over. So there is the process of creating a digital product, but the content digital product is the easiest one out of all. Not to say you don't have to plan it out, you don't have to think it through. You do. I just created a video based on me thinking it through that's kind of blowing up for me for my level of channel. Again, I understand search engine, what people are searching for. So I saw that Unity was being searched because they're about to go public. Unity is software that we're using to make my game. And 67% of all games, digital products, are created in Unity. So that software is about to go public. So I'm like, that falls within line of my content. It helps people that I'm trying to help, entrepreneurs and investors, people trying to create digital products, and people who invest, that helps them. So right now that video is going pretty good. And again, I'll link to it over here. So I saw that trend was happening. I created a video, and now it's getting views. Maybe that video is what takes me over the top to get monetized, and now that video makes money for me. Digital product. But I did have to think it through, right? I had to look it up, see what was being searched, start to think about how I would talk about it, do it, edit it, export it, put it on YouTube, share it all over. So it was work, but not as much work as a full day, 8-hour day working outside in the heat, right? I made a video that maybe one day can make me thousands of dollars. Hopefully, right? So this is like such an unprecedented opportunity. I really would like to help more people take advantage of it. So if you are watching, if you are interested in creating digital products, creating shows, creating podcasts, I definitely want you to reach out, because maybe you could be a part of my small group, my first small group that's going to get the information for free while I test it out, right? So I have a group of people that I already kind of know are interested, but the more I create content like this, I want more people to come to me and say, I would like to be a part of that. So yeah, I think the opportunity is just too massive for me not to create more content around it. I even have screwed that up. Like right now, I'm starting a lot of things that I could have started a long time ago and been like content. If I would have started this content thing years ago, I would have been way ahead. I would have definitely been monetized already. I would have maybe had way more products, way more streams of income based off of it, right? But I didn't. But they say, this is something that I keep in my head. The second best time to plant trees is today, right? So you want to create as soon as you can. Do it, right? So right now you're watching this, you may take a few days and be like, oh, but Miguel's saying, I don't know if I could do it. Just try it. I'm telling you, try it with the content alone. Just try it and see what happens. So I started this one a little late, so I'm going to end it now. Thank you for anybody who's watched. If you watched it this far, please like the video, subscribe to my channel wherever you're watching it, because the more subscriptions, and probably the most important thing you can do, if you watch this far, you are interested in the content. So if you can hit the bell on YouTube, what that'll do is it'll notify you every time I have a video come out, and that'll help you to watch more of the content I create. So thank you. Hopefully I help you become as financially free. We can both be financially free by watching this content and me creating it. So thanks again. Looking forward tomorrow. We'll see what I talk about, but thank you for watching.